In the following segment, you're going to learn one way to get into the zone on demand when putting. In this segment, the term pre-live is used. Pre-live refers to getting excited to such a high degree of intensity you can't wait to strike the ball because you know you're going to be successful before you execute the task. I developed the word pre-live based on the idea that patients whose brain cells have been stimulated with tiny electrodes describe reliving scenes from the past. Notice they're not remembering, they are reliving past experiences. To get into the zone, you pre-live, not relive. You pre-live the success before it happens. You imagine a successful outcome with such intensity, the brain thinks it has actually happened before it has happened. Let's take a look at what we call a level 7 technique for getting into the zone on demand. Level 7s are a little bit unusual, and less than 3% of the population are level 7s. But we're finding in sport, more and more professional athletes are beginning to get into the zone by using level 7 techniques. Now, we got the idea by watching Larry Bird from the Boston Celtics shoot three-point shots in the three-point contest. And we found that when he'd take the ball out of the rack, he'd shoot it, then he'd go get the other ball. And he was really having two balls in the air most of the time. And then we began to notice he wasn't looking at the basket. What he was doing is it looked like he was looking about, maybe 2 to 3 feet beyond his fingertip. And so he was really using an imaginary sight like on a rifle. Right? And so he was coming up and he was using that as a sight. Right? And that's what we found to work with the level 7 technique. So when they're putting, they're only going to be looking about a foot arc is what they're going to do. Now let me show you. Now what we do is we take a glance at the hole, and then we come back and we keep the hole sort of in our peripheral vision. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate on an arc that's about a foot like this. And that's going to be our sight as we're coming through here. So we come up and we catch that arc. Now all of a sudden, we begin to get excited because we know we can hit it right on that arc. And so we strike it. Now you notice I didn't look at the cup. So I come down, I look at the cup, I drag up, catch it out of the peripheral vision. I catch this arc. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is I imagine that arc. I pre-live, I get excited because I'm going to put it right on that arc. And then I do it, and I keep looking at the arc. Now notice I did not move my head. I trusted that the ball was going to go in the hole. Now let's do it again. I track up, keep it in my peripheral vision. I catch the arc. Now once I see that arc, I start getting excited. I pre-live. Then I swing on the arc. Okay, I do not look at it, and it goes in and I get excited. Now I'm starting to get into the zone, and so I want to show you something. We're going to use multiple putters. We address the ball. We glance at the hole. We pull up, keep it in the peripheral vision. We see the arc. We know we can keep it on the arc. We get excited, and we put it in the hole. We address the ball. Glance at the hole, drag up, keep it in the peripheral vision. See the arc, get excited because we know we can put it on the arc. We put it in the hole. Take a different putter. We address the ball. We glance at the hole, we pull up, keeping it in the peripheral vision. We see the arc, we get excited, we pre-live because we can keep it on the arc. We strike the ball. We address the ball. We glance at the hole. We pull up, keeping it in our peripheral vision. We look at the arc. We know we can keep it on the arc. We get excited. We pre-live. We strike. We address the ball. We glance at the hole, we pull down, we keep it in the peripheral vision. We see the arc. We know we can keep it on the arc. We get excited. We strike the ball. Using the 5 different putters is a level 7 technique. And what we're doing is we're communicating to the brain that we're more important than the putter. And what this does is this helps us activate the brain so it fires. In other words, we see the hole, we track it down, keep it in our peripheral vision, we see the arc, and then when we hit it with these different putters, our brain explodes more. And so it allows us to get in the zone quicker and more often on demand. I found this putter in an antique store, and I found out it was made in the 1920s. It's from England. But somebody had put a piece of lead on the back of this putter, and it's not only an odd-looking putter, it's sort of an ugly-looking thing, but it's out of balance. Now, the reason why I do this is if I can put the ball in with this putter, I'm really telling my brain I'm pretty smart, I'm pretty good, okay, because the putter's working against me. Now, let me illustrate. I address the ball. I glance at the hole. I drag up, keep it in the peripheral vision. Imagine that arc. Be sure I keep it on the arc, get excited, and put it in. Now, I'm not doing this to show off or brag. I'm doing this just to illustrate the power of the zone. And I'm sort of in the zone now, so watch. I'm going to take this umbrella, and immediately, because I'm sort of in the zone, my mind begins to adjust. It feels this handle, it feels everything. But see, I'm sort of confident, and I think I can put it in. In fact, I know, because it's already pre-lived. I'm excited. So I look at the hole, I come up, keep it in the peripheral vision. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see the arc, but this is light, so I got to hit it harder. So when I hit it harder, it's going to go in. When you're in the zone, it will really compensate for things. It will self-adjust. Now, I don't want to underestimate the power of mechanics or basics. In other words, the brain can only self-adjust and self-correct so much. But when you're in the zone, it'll just do wonders. Distance and speed in putting involves touch and feel. To help learn how to judge distance and speed, get a handful of balls, draw a ring halfway around each ball with a marking pen, address the ball with the half ring on top, parallel, that is horizontal, with the face of the putter head. After the ball is struck, the ring helps see, that is, conceptualize the rotation of the ball. Obviously, the quicker the rotation, the longer the putt, the slower the rotation, the shorter the putt. By seeing, that is, conceptualizing the rotation of the ball, it helps develop touch and feel. We say conceptualizing because you don't actually see the ring, you see a blur. But the blur of the 5-foot putt is different than the blur of a 10-foot putt. So the ring actually sensitizes us to the effect the rotation has on the ball, which in turn helps us judge distance and speed and ultimately helps us develop touch and feel. Touch and feel are harder to master than direction, much harder. It can be learned, but it takes practice. This ring technique has helped a lot of players I've dealt with. I urge you to give it a try.